Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you like what we do here and you want us to continue to pump out this great content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and make sure to follow us on social media. Our episodes come out every Monday at 4 p.m. And before we head over to the podcast, I want to send out a big thank you to our sponsors. Are looking to buy or sell your home or just curious about how much it's worth in the current market? Check out AlessandroDivinoHomes.com. Working with Alessandra is your secret weapon to navigating the real estate market. And by ASF Sports and Outdoors, located at 1560 Post Road East in Westport. ASF, expert advice every day. And now, let's head over to the podcast. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm delighted to have to meet with today Kathryn Asiel from the Staples Girls Field Hockey. How are you, Kathryn?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, a pleasure having you. And, I've been having so much fun this year covering the field hockey team. It's something I know that I've gotten into the sport this year. It's a very exciting sport.
Yeah.
It certainly is. Now, talk to me. How did you get started with the sport?
I started playing when I was in third grade, just the Westport youth clinics, and then I was on the travel team from 5th grade to 8th grade and met all my friends through that. And then I started playing club field hockey for the Field Hockey Club of Connecticut, which my head coach also coaches that.
Yeah.
And so I started that at some point in middle school, and yeah, I've been playing ever since.
So is field hockey, like when you talk about club, do you guys do a lot of traveling with that? Because I know like volleyball, there's not many leagues here, so you have to travel a lot. How is that?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good teams in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Okay. So for the indoor season, which is played 5 on a side plus a goalie on a court, there's a lot of indoor tournaments down in Pennsylvania.
So it's almost like they do with soccer, right? So it kind of shorten less players, a lot more touches.
A lot more touches, much faster. Yeah.
Much faster, right? It helps. Is it like is it covered with like hockey, or do you guys play with out of bounds?
No, it's there are boards on the side, so you actually use the boards to pass up. Yeah, like hockey.
So yeah, it's like it is very different, right? Now I wanted to bring this up, and I was talking. You had a pretty gruesome injury, your sophomore year, wasn't it?
Yes.
So how? Well, I guess like. I've always wanted to ask this, so I'll try that with you. Like, when the injury happens, does it hurt like the minute and keeps hurting for a long time?
Yeah. Well,
so how did it happen with you?
I've been injured quite a bit, probably every season except this one so far.
Knock on wood, right? It's not wood, yeah.
So my sophomore year, it was over the summer. We had, in the off season, my freshman year, we started a workout program, and everyone was doing it. I got really strong, but then I ended up, I think it was an overuse injury from lifting.
Wow, okay.
So I pulled something in my back and went to probably 5 or 6 different doctors, and no one could end up diagnosing it. And I still have some back issues, but it was just I think an overuse injury. So I played that sophomore season, and then took 6 months off after that to recover, did a lot of physical therapy. And then came back junior year and felt much better. So it's still a presence, but it doesn't really limit me from playing anymore.
And that's great, because it's always, when you have an injury like that, you always feel like there's something you try to do a little extra not to get that part of the body injured, right?
Right, yeah.
So you want to always be mindful of that. Mm-hmm. Now, and I think, was that the year that you won the Coaches Award?
That was my sophomore year.
It was a sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
So you've been varsity all 4 years, ever since from freshman, right? So as a freshman coming in, how is it intimidating to play varsity as a freshman? I mean, how did you handle that pressure early on as such a young person coming into high school?
It was definitely intimidating. I think the team was so good. They had just come off of a state championship win in 2019. But everyone was so just accepting and welcoming. It really is like a great community. And yeah, I think it was definitely intimidating at first. I definitely had some confidence issues my first couple years. How could you not almost? Yeah. But I think that everyone really just is good at uplifting each other. So it all worked out, obviously.
That's great. It seems like they really worked out really well for you. Now let's talk a little bit about, off the field. So you're going to your senior year, right? This is your senior year. So what are your plans for next year? Are you going to play field hockey, or are you looking at schools? How is that going for you so far?
I'm just looking at schools. I think I'm definitely going to try to play club in college. I was on kind of the track to possibly commit for a while. I went to all the showcases and tournaments and email coaches and everything, but actually with my back injury that had me out for a while, I ultimately decided to not commit.
Sure.
I was kind of happy with leaving the majority of my field hockey career in high school. And I think that decision kind of allowed me to almost let loose for my junior and senior year, and just I kind of have a newfound confidence with that pressure off me.
That's great.
That's not for everyone, obviously.
Right, yeah.
There's so much success with all of our girls who are committed or looking to commit, but for me, that was just what worked best.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always seems to be that, that pressure to play the next level, but it's really not. It's okay, right, to just play and then just get the next 4 years of your life and then try to move something else, because you're always looking to grow, right? You're always looking to grow into something different. Now, going back to field hockey, so if I remember, if I've done my research correctly, you've played defense and midfield.
Yes.
Right. And there's a lot of similarities between soccer and field hockey, because it's a lot sprinting, right?
Yes.
So did you have to adjust a lot to go from a defense to a midfielder? How did that work? And who was that? Your idea was something Coach Ian gave you? How did that come about?
Kind of from Coach Ian. I think I actually started in defense when I played youth, and then I moved up to center mid playing club field hockey. I think one of my better talents on the field is distributing the ball, which was why center mid was a good position for me then. And then I played left mid a lot when I was in my sophomore year. And I think, scoring's just not really my thing.
That's okay too, yeah.
I've accepted I'm good at what I'm good at, and scoring is not necessarily one of those things.
You're the assist person, right? You're the one to set them up, just as important.
Right.
Just as important.
I definitely found my calling with defense. I think my junior year, I got put into left wing back, which kind of overlaps into the attack as well. So best of both worlds. And now I play left defense. And my parents always said that when I played rec soccer when I was little, I was always the one standing right in front of the goal and not going up. So I've always kind of had those defensive instincts. So
it is, and it's something like I remember coaching rec soccer, and you had players who would just like the ball would kick and they take a step back.
Right, exactly.
It's just an instinct. It's just
for some people it's to score, for some it's to defend.
Yeah, so. And it's like I feel like when you're playing up, it's like you're maybe taking more chances and making more mistakes. When you're playing back, you really can't afford to make any mistakes.
Right.
So like when you moved from the back to play in the middle, was there a confidence thing that kind of went on? Did you have to adjust being able to take more chances with your play?
Yeah, I think I definitely struggled with being able to decide to go score and go attack. My immediate instinct would be to pass back, to work it around the back, and to find the seams when playing, to send the ball up the field, which is great and how we play a lot at Staples. But I struggled with finding the right time to go forward, I think, which is why, I'm back in defense now and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a comfort zone, right? You're sitting there, your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Now, off the field, if you're not doing field hockey, what do you like to do?
I really love music.
Great.
Yeah, I play the piano sometimes, not professionally or anything like that, but yeah.
Your parents put you in piano classes, I'll bet.
When I was younger, yes.
Yeah,
so I used to do theater a lot, and then kind of with Staples had to decide between the two.
Yeah, it's a lot of commitments, right? I mean, it's hard. Staples players, it's a big program, so it's a lot of commitment there.
So Staples, with Staples, you kind of have to specialize in one thing. But I'm looking to kind of go deeper into music, hopefully in college, and explore that side of me as well.
And you like more playing, more producing? What do you feel like is your niche when you talk about music?
More playing, probably.
More playing, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, now it seems like in music, everyone's, you can do so much production on a computer, right? And get all the digital music out. Yeah. And it's great. I mean, but it's just different sounds. But when you're playing it, there's always a different aspect to it.
Right.
You ever play in a band? Ever play live?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Yeah, so hope college around, maybe we'll do something like that,
hopefully
right?
I can. Yeah, I'm looking to.
Yeah, I play a bass guitar, so like I do a lot of live stuff, and it's really really fun to get in front of a crowd and do that. So I hope you get to do that because you enjoy it a lot.
Thank you.
Sure. And so now, as we talk about how would you characterize your senior season, if you had to think about looking back when you guys started in the summer, right, doing all that practice, and now as we head into the playoffs. What are the most things you treasure that you can say this story was great about your senior year?
I think that honestly, this is my favorite year so far. I think that this year's team is just so close and so just the camaraderie, the team camaraderie is really present with this specific group. I think that one of my main goals as being captain this year has just kind of been to foster that environment where everyone feels like they can make mistakes and be supported, and where everyone is excited for each other and kind of a more collective attitude, I think. And we really have that this year, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me that has made this season my favorite so far.
That's awesome. And I will mention that, and I wanted to ask you this because everyone I talk to, I lobby about changing the soccer rules to field hockey rules, and that is when it gets to overtime.
Yeah.
That's 7. Well, I said 6v6 on the morning walk, but it's actually 7v7, right? So it's a goalie and 6.
Right.
So when you guys do that, and you got maybe, does the mentality change a lot because there's so much space?
Yeah, a little bit. We play a game more possession, take a couple less chances, I think, because you can't really afford to turn over the ball in that
right.
in that situation as much. So we work it around the back more and try and make the highest percentage passes that we can. And I think our last 2 games were 2 wins in overtime, and then we lost in overtime to Darien earlier in the season, but I think we've just gotten so much better at that our confidence with overtime is through the roof now. So it's fun to play. I mean,
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for that Darien rematch.
I know.
Right, for the FCX. I mean, I think it's everywhere. It's what kind of everybody wants to see, that, is you guys getting a crack at them again. Because, I mean, usually I looked when I talked to Coach Ian, we were talking about, I mean, Staples dominated for a long time, especially with those 4 in a row championships.
Right.
And now Darien's kind of catching up, right, and giving a run. And that's great because you want to have that.
Right.
You want to have someone that, that challenges you so you can find out what you really are, right?
Right, the competition.
And I was at the Greenwich game, and I remember, and that was like a tough game for you guys, and you edged out of overtime win. When you play a team that's playing to your level, I mean, talk about that. How does that feel out there, and that game is intense?
I absolutely love it. I think that Greenwich game specifically was one of my favorite games I've ever played in. I think that those games, even though it's so intense, it pushes us to play the best hockey we can play. Our team just always rises to the challenge, I think. We just rely on each other and rely on our skill set, and it's always a really fun game to watch. So that's what high school field hockey should be like.
It is. Like, it was so exciting, and we had a great time. That day was raining, right? It was like muggy, everything like that, but it was a great way to end it too.
Yeah.
So as you look ahead and you look back at your time at Staples, we're talking about the 4 years, that you were there, you were on that team. Is there like one specific memory or story that you can share with us that kind of like really, I don't know if it made you find out something about yourself or something about your teammate that's like, it wasn't like a goal, it wasn't a thing, right? But maybe it was like a moment that you had that you thought, man, this is great. This is why I do this.
Mm-hmm. I think last year it was our home opener, and we won 4-1 against New Canaan, and that was just every time I look back on my field hockey career at Staples, I always think of that one win specifically. I think it was just a beautiful September afternoon. We were just all doing what we love, having the best time, and beating a team who was hard to beat, honestly. So it's, again, just those intense games that I just really love to play in.
And was that one of the first games back from your injury? Is that
yes?
So,
yes.
So maybe that's something that touches home too as well, right? It's like, I'm back here, I'm doing what I love, right? And looking back at your field hockey career and everything at Staples, anything you do differently? It's a tough question, I know.
It is a tough question. Not necessarily. I'd say not get injured as much. But,
but you can't help that, right?
I mean, especially in defense. You put your body on the line, kind of. No, I think that just this year especially, I've kind of done everything that I have wanted to do, and kind of all of my goals have been kind of satisfied with this year, this team, and across all 4 years.
And that's so great. I mean, so happy to hear it, because it's sometimes like it doesn't go that way, but it's so happy it did for you. Well, I want to thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure having you, Kathryn.
Thank you for having me.
And before we go, we want to do some quick hits so the audience can find out a little bit about you, okay? All right, so we'll go through this. All right, so what's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
The Very First Night.
TikTok or Instagram?
TikTok.
Movies or Netflix?
Netflix.
Pizza or sushi?
Pizza.
Math or English?
Math. I don't know.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
CrossFit or yoga?
CrossFit.
Beach or sightseeing?
Beach.
Coolest thing in your room?
My hammock swing.
One thing you can't live without?
My dog.
If you could have lunch with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Harry Styles.
And if you could go back and relive one day of your life, what do you think that would be?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I get everyone with that question. Everyone has to stop and think about that one.
My friend from Australia came to visit me last spring break in April, and I took her to a Staples lacrosse game where they beat Darien after being down at the half. And she came and met all my friends, and we just had the best time together. And it was like her experiencing like an American high school. So,
yeah.
And with my sister. So that was probably one of my favorite times.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. It's a really great story.
Yes.
Kathryn, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Best of luck rest of the season.
Thank you.